Rahat Konain Hassan Saiba, Chairperson, Competition Commission of Pakistan, Khawatino Hazrat, Assalamu Alaikum. It is my great pleasure to be able to address you even on video. I wish I could be with you today because it's International Women's Day and I wish that we were all together, but it was not possible. So I'm very grateful to be given this opportunity to be with you here today, even if it is as a recorded message. In particular, I'd like to compliment the chairperson of CCP on the topic of this discussion today, which is policy and regulation through a gender lens for creating a level playing field. Because this is an unusual topic. On International Women's Day, we often talk about what organizations should do, work-life balance, role models, but this is such a specific and important topic. And the first thing I'd like to say on this topic is that there is no level playing field at the moment. If you look at the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap, Pakistan ranks 153 out of 156 countries. In senior leadership roles, we only have 7% women. And if you look at inclusion and bank accounts, for every 3 male bank accounts, there is just 1 female bank account. So we do not have a level playing field. And this is something that we need to create so that the women in our country have a choice to be part of the economic landscape. And for regulators, like the State Bank or the CCP and of course the Competition Commission, it's very important that we work towards this with a gender lens, because that is another particular phrase that I really resonate with in the topic for today. So we have while we celebrate Women's Day and we are happy about that, we have some serious issues that we need to address. And at the State Bank, we have a vision for financial inclusion. And that has to have women as part of its major goals. So I'd like to talk about some things that we have done in this very briefly, and it's all available on our website if you want more details. But the first thing that we have done, which we rolled out last year, was our banking on equality policy. Bankari mein barabari, we would like to call it. And this really has 5 pillars that we are seeking to implement. The first is that women will only be comfortable in going to a bank if they see women in the bank itself. So the first point is that we are promoting and using our regulatory mandate, asking banks to increase the numbers of women in their workforce. This is currently 13%, and by the end of next year, we would like this to be at least 20%. And of course, we are looking at ourselves, the State Bank, first to lead by example. The second, which I think resonates with the topic for today, is the gender lens. In banks, products are created by men for men. So we have to move from gender neutral to gender intentional policies. So we have asked banks to look at all their products and their services and the way they interact with customers to look at what a woman would want. It's very simple in some ways. A woman wants to be respected, and our culture promotes that. She wants to be valued as a customer, and she needs to be welcomed. So if they use a gender lens to look at a product, if it's a savings product, we know that a woman wants to save for her children. She wants to save for her family. So the savings products need to be in that way. She needs to, if she wants to borrow, she may have a small business at home. But when a product is created, it's created for someone in a factory. So that gender lens is very important, and we have made banks look at that, and I think that is progressing. The third pillar is women's champions at all access points. So this can be branches, this can be call centers, these can be in your app. You must have people who understand women within the bank, and it can be men and it can be women, but that is essential. So these are the women's champions, and we have set targets for that. The third is data. We have an issue that we don't have gender disaggregated data. So if we look at a certain type of accounts, we don't know how many women's accounts are held or how many women borrowers are there and how many of those accounts and women borrowers are actually the decision makers. So the collection of data, it sounds very easy, but it is actually a challenge. So that framework has been created and we are making progress. And the last is a policy forum for gender, which we hope that persons who value the contribution of women will advise the State Bank on how this policy can move further. So that's our banking on equality policy, and that's a prime example of how a regulator can actually work to create a level playing field. The other part that we have done is that women, to open accounts for them is sometimes extremely difficult, especially those at home. They don't have the documents, they don't have a pay slip to offer because they're working from home, or if they are homemakers, they want to save, but they are asked, what is your source of income? So what we have done is two things, and I'll explain both. One is the Asan account, where you go to a bank and you open it and all you need is your CNIC and a letter saying that I get my income, say from my husband, he gives me monthly and I save from that. Or even easier, we've made, and we have just launched a day ago, in line with International Women's Day, the Asan digital account, which can be remotely opened while you're sitting at home. And that will really help women, because women have very little time, women work longer hours, and they need to be able to do what they need to do for a bank. So this will be simply on an app. The biometric will be done linked to Nadra remotely, and all they need is again a simple letter which they will upload and upload their CNIC. And we are very keen that banks promote it. 3 banks are already doing it, and this will grow. The other thing, of course, is women require finance. And for that, we have 2 products that I would like to mention. Obviously, they can apply and use the products available for men, but one is our guarantee scheme for women, especially for women. That carries we will lend at 6%, the bank, and we will give banks money at 0%. And also there is 60% risk guarantee cover. So I would encourage all the women here to learn more about this product. Then I will talk about the Kamyab Jawan scheme. The Kamyab Jawan scheme has a target for 25% women. So far they have reached 13%. This is a simple product. You need to go on a portal and register. For certain levels, no security is actually needed. And many women छोटे छोटे घरों में होती हैं, उन्होंने 1 या 2 अगर भैंसें रखी होती हैं तो वो 2 भैंसें और ले लेती हैं, तो उनके कुछ पैसे भी बन जाते हैं, उनके ख़ानदान में कुछ खुशहाली भी आती है. तो ये भी एक प्रोडक्ट है कि प्लीज़ आप, we should learn about it, and we are willing to come and talk to anyone who would like to understand this further. In the end, I'd like to talk a little bit about senior women and my own role. One of the things I'd like to see is more women from middle management coming forward. It's very important to have people like Rahat Kaunain Sahiba and others like Dr. Shamshad and others to come forward as role models. And I have spent my lifetime in banking trying to promote this. I would just like to encourage all the women here to understand that they are role models too. And we need to get together and help each other so that we are able to teach each other how to grow in organizations or in any realm of life that they wish to work in. I or Rahat Sahiba, we have succeeded, we have worked hard, and we have overcome barriers, and we would like very much to show other women how to do this. So I think it's very important that we work together and move forward with this goal. Thank you so much for listening to me, and have a lovely day today. Thank you.